And let's move on to 6.4, 10:30 a.m. Consideration of response to the 2020-21 Grand Jury Final Report, and CAO Hutchinson.
Again, I'm introducing Matthew Rothstein, who will present this response.
Thank you and good morning again, Board. As you're aware, each year, the Lake County Civil Grand Jury compiles a series of reports making recommendations to improve government systems, procedures, and methods of operation. The Civil Grand Jury's final report collects findings and recommendations based on their investigations. Pursuant to the California Penal Code sections 933 and 933.05, your board is required to respond to grand jury recommendations as requested. And staff have been privileged to work with your board to prepare the draft response that was attached to your agenda. And this response uses the grand jury's recommended format and includes answers to all recommendations for which a response was required. We recommend that your board acts today to approve the response and authorize the chair to sign. If you find that any changes are needed, those must be adopted no later than Tuesday, September 14, to allow timely submittal. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Any comments or questions on the reports that we were provided?
No.
So there is, I was reading through this and it didn't catch my attention until I was thinking about it later on. I believe it's on the collected departments report. And I know that there's specific answers. There's agree, already done, agree, will be done by a certain time, neutral, and then disagree. And maybe I don't have them exactly correct as far as what's available. And I'm looking through it. I'm sorry that I just thought of this, that I feel like at one point there stopped saying agree or disagree. And I'm wondering if we need to make sure and label it. And I'm looking at page 12 and page 13. I want to say this is from Ms. Grant. Is it enough to, one of the response was, it says, it is presently being done and so has already been implemented. Obviously, that would be agree. Although an implied commitment seems amorphous, elected officials has already been implemented. Is there a way that we can add the response specific to, rather than having to try and figure out what the response is?
In the body of the county council
Because it started out with the agree and disagree, and then eventually as we got to the bottom of the document, it was more of an implied response based on the 4 responses that we have, and then of course the language, and was wondering if it's necessary to make sure that it has what is expected as far as those 4 responses, and then a verbal response, or if that verbal response is enough to imply which one of those it is.
I don't mean to step on anybody's toes, but I'm prepared to respond to that if that's desirable, Chair.
Go for it, Matthew.
Please.
Okay, so your board's response is required, right? So staff always endeavors to make sure that your board's response follows precisely the form that is required both in statute and the grand jury's recommendations. With the departmental response, those essentially function as background for the preparation of your board's response. We do include them so that the grand jury likewise has that background. However, your board's response is the one that must be compliant as to form, and it is as prepared today.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. But that's all I had on the reports. Appreciate the staff time for getting all of the responses. And also thank you to the grand jury for your questions and your concerns, and hopefully everybody learned a little bit more about our processes and a better understanding of how we're moving forward and what's being implemented and what's being worked on. Any comments or questions before we open it up for the public? Okay.
I would just add, Mr. Chair, that that we're off to a good start with this year's grand jury as well. They invited me over to give them kind of an overview of county operations, and they have lots of questions and interest in our work, so we look forward to the coming year with them.
All right, thank you for that. And so we have Bridget on the Zoom room. Let's go ahead and unmute Bridget. And please provide your full name, and you have 3 minutes.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
This is Bridget McQueen, and I'm just want to make sure you guys got my emails. This is in reference to the We the People report in the grand jury, and also the claim and the sewer. As you know, we have a lateral with, it's a public lateral with 50 homes at stake. If we don't take care of the sewer issue, we have the risk of the lake, and I know that your goal is to keep people safe, it's keep the lake safe.
Bridget, I don't mean to be rude and interrupt. I just want to make sure that we stay on the topic at hand, which is the response to the grand jury report. The issue and incident that you're discussing right now is a separate issue and incident.
Okay.
That I'm sure we would love to discuss, but it's not on our agenda at this moment in time.
So it looked like it was on the agenda. When would be a good time for me to address this?
So you could always bring it to us during public comment. That is not based on any item on our agenda. You can discuss it with your district supervisor and see if maybe that can be brought back to the board. But at this moment, again, you can discuss the response to that specific item within the grand jury. And if you have issues with the response, and which is what we're looking at right now, is the staff response and board response to the grand jury report.
So I'm looking at the staff response to the grand jury report, which was from Scott Harder at Special Districts.
Okay.
Is that pertinent or not?
And like I said, you can discuss, we are looking to file these responses today. And so if you want to discuss the response, yes, but discussing, we can't solve the issue today of what is occurring when it comes to the sewer and stuff, or the lateral, but the responses we can discuss to see if there needs to be any changes or anything like that.
Okay, well, I guess I want to ask a question. Did you get my email in response to Scott Harder's response yesterday? And do you have any questions to that? And that some of the inaccuracies that he had in his response and that he informed us, which was not true, and how I had to handle the spill, which was not my responsibility at all.
And so I believe that we all did receive the emails, at least I know I did. I'm getting some nods from supervisors next to me. Appreciate your feedback, and at this time, from my personal perspective, the evidence that has been brought to me leads me to wanting to continue with the comments provided by our staff.
What does that mean? You want to continue with the comments that the engineering report that you got that shows that it was intended to be on public property doesn't apply?
That's not what I said. I said I'm ready to move forward with the comments provided by staff on the grand jury report analysis. Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to work through with Tina on this because last time I emailed her, she was saying I need to talk to Anita Grant. So I'm just confused on how you want me to work with all of you to resolve this.
And I would say start there, and maybe it does need to lead to Ms. Grant. But at this moment in time, again, the issue itself will not be resolved today. Okay. And so please start there, and hopefully we can come to an understanding of what needs to be done.
Okay, great. Yeah, Tina, I'll be in touch with you.
Thank you very much. Any further comments on this item? Seeing none in the boardroom and seeing no more in the Zoom room, bringing it back to the board.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the response to the 2020-21 grand jury final report and authorize the chair to sign.
Second.
We have a motion from Supervisor Scott, a second by Supervisor Simon. Roll call, please, Johanna.
Supervisor Simon,
Yes.
Supervisor Crandall,
Aye.
Supervisor Scott,
Aye?
Supervisor Pyska,
Yes.
and Supervisor Sabatier.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And again, thank you to all involved in getting this to us in timely fashion so we can get it filed.